So welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the tour of the pan around of the studio. Just to give you an overview of the workspace that I'm in, and this is where we make all of the quilts for the Whimsical Workshop. I do have an office where I design everything, so I'm not in here all the time, but I'm in here quite a bit. Today I want to talk about how I organize my projects. At any one time, we can have 20 or 30 projects going. And those are for clients to send out for trunk shows, for magazines, for our own pattern line, for sew-alongs and videos. So we have a lot of projects going on at one time. And it's really important for us to keep it organized, especially since the majority of the fabric I work with is stuff you will see in the store in 6 months. We are, working with the fabric companies. They send us their fabrics before they're released. Most of the time I can't show you stuff till 6 months later, which is a little harder for us, but in the end, it's important to get you stuff finished before you get the fabric, so you know what you might want to do with it. So back here, these are Billy bookcases, and these are containers I got from Target. They were very inexpensive, like $3. They had all different colors. I got blue and I got white. And these are perfect to hold a project. So here is one. This is Marble Mania, and you'll see here on the end, I will fold the pattern and put it on the end of the box. So when I look up here, I can see what I have. So even if it's not your own pattern and you have a purchase pattern, put the picture at the end of the clear box so you can see what the project is that's in the box. It will make it so much easier when you're trying to find a project. If you don't have a bookshelf like this, you could stack them up like this inside of a big blue bin. But again, label the container that's holding your project so you know what's in the project. So I have big projects, I have little ones for littler projects. This is a project we haven't cut yet. This is coming up. This is our Marble Mania pattern, and it's using a fat quarter bundle. So in here I have the excess fabrics. I have the backing fabric stuck in here. I have the whole fat quarter bundle that this project will be made out of. So stay tuned for that video. It's coming eventually. And then I just put this, I slide the pattern right in at the front, and I close it up. Make sure you get it in there so you can close it. And it goes up on the shelf. So every one of these bins you see behind me when we're shooting videos are projects that have to be made. Some of them, the beauty of the box is like this one is for coffin quilt. They're little Halloween coffins. It's a coffin swap. But I've already got parts cut. And I have the template that I need to keep with it. And I have the paper, so it's all contained in here. And then I always keep the extra fabric in the box with it so that if I need another piece, I have the fabric, I'm able to cut it out. So whether you do this with containers or you do it with Ziploc bags, they sell really large Ziploc bags, you can make fabric bags. However you need to organize your projects, make sure you store the extra fabric. You make sure you label all your pieces. I always have a rule of thumb when I'm teaching someone how to cut, and I'll do a video on how we organize and cut a project all at once. But I always recommend you cut the whole project at one time, not necessarily without taking breaks, but don't cut it part way, make some, cut it, make some. Cut the whole thing at once, then make it. If you question the pattern at all, then cut enough for a test block, make the test block, then cut everything else. And when you cut your projects and put them away as if or cut them as if you are going to give them to somebody else. Because if you're going to give it to somebody else, it's going to be labeled, it's going to be organized, it's going to be much more put together than if you're like, oh, I'm just cutting it for me. Because if you think about it, in 6 months' time, when you pull out your UFO, you are somebody else. And that person will thank past you for taking the time to be organized at the beginning. So that's how I organize our projects for sewing. I do have, again, we're a design studio, so 90% of what we make is a paid project that's going out the door. But I do have my own UFOs. I don't have a lot of them. I actually can contain them all in this little bin, believe it or not. And this is actually a knitting UFO. And in here I have everything in a bag labeled, so when I pull this out in 10 years, I know what it is. Lots of little projects in here, but one of the things that I started fairly early on is at the beginning of the year, when people do spring cleaning, I usually do it at Christmas time because it's our slowest time with the business. I go through all of my projects that are for me, and I ask myself the really hard question of, am I ever going to finish this? Because if I'm never going to finish it and I keep storing it, every time I pull it out, I feel guilty. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh, I can't purchase a new fabric kit because I still have this old one that I just don't want to do. Remember, this is a hobby. You're supposed to enjoy it. If something is weighing you down, it is time for that to move on to another person. I am a great person to be friends with because every year I donate my UFOs to all of my friends or to charity. I don't throw them away, but they go on and have a better life with the hopes of being completed versus hiding out in my studio, just giving me guilt and sadness because I haven't finished it. So that is a trick that I do, and I have done that for the 20 years I've quilted, and that is why I have a very little bin here. But everything in this bin, I really want to make. And when I have time to make something for myself, I know I can pull something out of here and I won't feel the guilt or sadness because I've already gone through and asked myself the tough question. I know fabric's expensive. I know kits are expensive. But if you are not going to be enjoying the event, you may as well pass it on to someone else who will. So that's my little tidbit on UFOs and how I store my projects. We're going to do a few more videos on organization, so make sure you check all of those out on my YouTube channel, The Whimsical Workshop. And when you're there, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you know every time we drop another video. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you like and subscribe below. You can find The Whimsical Workshop on our website, thewhimsicalworkshop.com. And that has all links to all of our other social media platforms. Thanks for joining us.